a moment of contemplative silence for our great country, its people, and those serving it around the world. Thank you. Please be seated. Calling the clerk for a roll.
Majority Leader Borgia. Minority Leader Testa.
Here.
Mr. Boykin.
Here.
Mr. Burrows. Mr. Gelfarb.
Here.
Mr. Harcum.
Here.
Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Mazzano. Ms. Marcotte. Ms. Parker.
Here.
Ms. Perez.
Here.
Ms. Shimsky.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Spreckman. Ms. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chairman.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Excellent. Call on Mr. Williams for a motion on consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the consent agenda with the following changes. On page 2, top of the page, carried over from page 1, item 1, add the committees on labor, parks, and planning and housing. Page 2, item 2, add the committee on infrastructure. Page 2, item 3, add the committee on infrastructure. On page 4, item 4, add the committee on infrastructure. On item 5, add the committee on environmental and energy. On item 6, add the committee on environment and energy. On page 5, item 3, add the committee on seniors and constituencies. On page 7, item number 11, add the committee on legislation. On item number 12, add legislator A. Williams. And on the committee referral, add the committee on legislation. Continue on page 7, add legislator A. Williams. Page 7, item 14, sorry. Okay. Page 8, item 16, add the Budget and Appropriations Committee on item 16. On page 8, item 18, add legislators Boykin, Shimsky, A. Williams, and L. Williams. That concludes my...
Excellent. Mr. Testa.
We concur.
Okay, Mr. Marzano? Yes. Okay, excellent. No objections, so take the consent agenda moved, so ordered. At this point, minute approval. Call on again Mr. Williams. Majority.
Mr. Chairman, I move the minutes of the meeting of May 19, 2014 with no changes.
Mr. Testa? Mr. Marzano? Yes. Okay, again, no objections, minutes approved, so ordered. At this point, if the clerk would please read the rules for public comment.
Each speaker shall be limited to 3 minutes. I'll call the names of the speakers and ask that you please come down the aisle to my left and wait behind the black ropes. Regina Riley, Murray Bowden, Deirdre Curran, Edmund Riley. And the first speaker is Regina Riley.
I'm Regina Riley from Legislative District 9. The Women's Equality Act in the New York State Legislature has 10 points, which the state Senate divided into 10 separate bills last year. They passed the first 9, but Sheldon Silver of the Assembly refused to bring it back to the Assembly where the 9 would have passed. Some of Mr. Sheldon Silver's staff have been brought up on criminal charges due to predatory, felonious acts towards women, and yet he said it was because he was pro-woman. He did not want to bring it back to the Senate, to the Assembly. The 10th point S5881 is nearly an identical twin to the Stewart-Cousins-Hassel-Thompson-Klein Bill 438, which lost in the Reproductive Health Act, which failed in the Health Committee. But why didn't it pass? And why should not 5881 pass? Because women will be treated as second-class patients and really second-class citizens. Imagine decriminalizing forced and coerced abortions so that a person does not do jail time for doing an abortion on a woman, forcing or coercing them into it. That's a second-class citizen. What about second-class patients? Well, if you are a patient and you want to have an abortion for any time during that time, right up until the 9th month, and a non-doctor can do it. Would a man want to have a non-doctor take out his prostate? I don't think so. Imagine being urged to abort at 24 weeks, or a 32-week fetal child, or 9 months gestation. Mrs. Mobilia's baby was 32 weeks old, and this New Rochelle resident bled to death after a fully formed fetal child was killed by the MD. Having late-term abortions done by non-doctors is not safer, and really puts a woman more at risk. Allowing forced and coerced abortions to no longer be considered felonies makes the statutory rapist and incestuous rapist more bold. So I say 10th point is not anything about women's safety or women's health. It's about making us second-class citizens and second-class patients. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marie Bowden.
It's been a rather spectacular week last week. Friday was our 41st wedding anniversary. We had lunch in Bear Mountain, and then we hiked up to Perkins Tower, up the Major Wells Trail. Anybody hike up Major Wells and come down the Appalachian Trail? It's pretty steep. Good way to spend your anniversary lunch. But one of the really spectacular things was last Wednesday I went to the New Jersey Turnpike Board meeting. The month before, the chairman said to the chief engineer, you know, Murray's been complaining about these road lines for a long time. Why don't you write us a report? And this Wednesday, he presented a PowerPoint presentation about the issues I'm interested in, road lines and guide signs. They developed the gold standard of how you should do road lines and guide signs, and they did it on a PowerPoint. Unbelievable. Now everybody has a measure of what they have to measure up to, because the language was exactly correct for the Federal Highway Administration. I worked on it for 15 years on a markings committee. I wrote the dotted line, I designed the dotted line section. They put it into correct words, so I recognize what correct words and not. County of Westchester uses improper road lines. County Airport, what does it do? It decreases safety and increases costs. Distracted driving means that people aren't paying attention. The line on your left should be yellow. The line on your right should be white. It's broken. They don't fix it. Likewise, I passed after I was here last week, and the next morning, I was on the Sawmill River Parkway, and it was a fairly big accident on the other side. A fire engine, a couple of ambulances, tow trucks. Everybody had on a reflective vest, except the Westchester County police officers. This was, had to be a half hour after the accident happened. There was plenty of time to check the people because they were already done. And the officers did not put their reflective vests on, as required by law. So who goes out there and enforces the law? You're going to tell me 3 minutes the police officer can come up here and escort me off the counter, because that's what they did last time, if you remember correctly. which laws do I have to obey? The ones that you tell me to obey but you don't obey? Or the ones that I choose to obey? I've brought this business with the reflective vest up for one reason. It increases safety of the police officer. You can see him without it in a dark uniform. Hard to see him. More police officers get killed on the side of the road because you can't see him than anywhere else. So,
Murray, if you could kind of...
we've discussed this before. He said he's...
Just finish your thought. We love you. Thank you for coming, Murray. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time.
Deirdre Curran.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm back. Sustainable Playland's not gone yet, so I'm still here. I would much rather be walking my dog on the boardwalk right now. It's a beautiful night, but I'm here only because this afternoon, right before I came up, I got a bunch of emails from people and an email from Wendy saying that Sustainable Playland is again not going to make a committee review meeting tomorrow. Even though they've known about the schedule for months now, I've known about it for months. I make every one of these meetings, and I don't know how many times now they haven't shown up. It was supposed to be on traffic and parking. I'm not surprised. After the last time they talked about traffic and parking, I had no belief that the next time they were supposed to come and talk about traffic and parking, they were going to have any better answers. And my guess is that they're not showing up tomorrow because they don't have any better answers. Last weekend, not this one past, but Memorial Day weekend and the week before, a lot of us local people were regularly going over to the parking lot to monitor how filled up it was. The lot is filling up. The lot is filling up way into the area that is the field zone, even when the weather is not perfect. On the perfect days, the lot has been completely full. People have been getting pictures. I believe that they've sent them to the committee. I believe you've seen them. I have some on my cell phone. I haven't emailed. We've been going at all times of the day, all days of the weekend. People are coming to the park. The parking lot is filling up. It is proving that we can't have this construction project there. People that communicated with me this afternoon are really, really angry and fed up that this group is being continuously allowed to just duck the review process. If the plan is that good, they should be coming to you with all the information you want and then some. They shouldn't be missing meetings. They shouldn't be coming unprepared. And we're concerned about the time that's being wasted. They're wasting your time, they're wasting our money, and more importantly than any of that, they're wasting the park's time. It's time to end this. Please, for the love of God, just get this over with. Let's get moving on one of the other plans. Let's start vetting them. Let's get somebody in there in time to have 2015 be a good season for that park. Please. Thank you.
Ed Riley.
By the way, as Mr. Riley comes forward, just to our speakers tonight and for all those out there, we are changing the June 16 meeting to June 23rd. So I want often our guests to be aware of that, and we'll get the word out as much as possible. Same time, same location. Thank you, sir.
My name is Ed Riley. I'm from Croton. I'd like to speak on several things briefly tonight. One, I urge the chairman to reinstitute a prayer. He comes from a tradition of which represents three major religions who incorporate the prayers of his faith. So much so that when Hitler decided to remove any Jewish prayers from the Lutheran Church, they found that they had about 10% of their prayers left. And so if he needs some suggestions, I would suggest he start with the Psalms, or maybe repeats of basically Hebrew prayers said by George Washington or Thomas Jefferson if you need a political base. But this place needs prayers, this country needs prayers. We're in deep trouble, deep moral trouble. And he can do what he wants. He runs this chamber, but I urge that on him. He is a rich treasure, which he has access to. Item two, I wanted to make some comments. I figured this was LGBT Day. Actually, June should be Hispanic month. It's the Feast of St. John, and it's a month celebrated by the Puerto Rican community. So as long as we're celebrating different ethnic communities, you might as well celebrate the largest ethnic group up and coming in the county and the state and the country. one of the remarks I was going to make on LGBT is the sinister way gay marriage has spread across the United States, mostly by judiciary. No constitutional amendments to state constitutions. Arbitrary judges in whack job states like Vermont and Massachusetts dictating to the populace what marriage is, denying public referendum. And here's the most despicable act of all, which was participated in by a U.S. Supreme Court. 2 referendum in California overturned by a gay judge who was not admitted to at that time, who had an interest in it, backed up by the Supreme Court because no one in authority in the state of California would defend the law. Now, what message does that send to you if you are a resident of California about referendum? Your referendum don't count if some lousy politician refuses to defend your law. I think this is a sinister way, and it makes a sinister precedent how you can overcome a centuries-old practice by arbitrary judicial conduct. Think about that. Now, I have not been here recently because we're working in the upper counties. And I want to say to you Republicans, the upper counties, which are run by Republicans, smell like Westchester did under O'Rourke. And unless they're cleaned up, they will be Democratic counties. Because if you want graft, the Democrats are professionals at it. So when you talk to your county executives in these other counties, Republicans, you tell them, and there's a lot of them walking with a string around their back. They can be pulled at any time. You better clean that place up, or you won't be Republican long. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other cards.
Excellent. We'll close the public comment portion of the meeting. It is just shy of 7:30, so why don't we go to unfinished business at this time?
The first 4 items under unfinished business were all held over from the May 19, 2014 regular board meeting and appear here as items of unfinished business for committee referral only. Item 7109 is an act amending Act Number 26-1952 as amended, which amended Act Number 40-1941 entitled An Act Establishing Personnel Rules in Westchester County and Adopting Clarification of Positions and Schedules of Pay.
At this point, obviously no discussion required, so ordered. You think we need a long roll call on that? Okay. On the other hand, we'll do a long roll call.
Mr. Testa.
Yes.
Mr. Boykin.
Yes.
Mr. Burrows. Mr. Gelfarb. Mr. Harkam.
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins.
Yes.
Mr. Mazzano. Ms. Marcotte. Ms. Parker.
Yes.
Ms. Perez. Ms. Shimsky.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Spreckman. Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
By a vote of 16-0, the item is referred to the Committees on Budget and Appropriations and Labor, Parks, Planning, and Housing. Item 7113 is an act amending the 2014 County Capital Budget Appropriations for Capital Project RB 169 Bridge and Road Urgent Rehab Program.
We'll take previous long roll call. So ordered.
By a vote of 16-0, the item is referred to the Committees on Budget and Appropriations, Economic Development and Capital Projects, and Infrastructure. Item 7115 is a bond act authorizing the issuance of $5 million in bonds of the county to finance capital project RB 169 Bridge and Road Urgent Rehab Program.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0 to be referred to the Committees on Budget and Appropriations, Economic Development and Capital Projects, and Infrastructure. Item 7148 is a local law amending the laws of the county by repealing Chapter 875 of the laws of Westchester County.
I hear too, seeing no comment, and this is for referral only, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
By a vote of 16-0, this item is referred to the Committees on Environment and Energy and Legislation. Item 7141 was held over from the May 19 2014 regular board meeting appears here as an item of unfinished business for action.
Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do you have to read it or no? No? Good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This particular item is going to be recommitted to the Committee on Federal and State Affairs to add in additional language that was requested after the meeting today. In addition, it will be held in a joint meeting with Budget and Appropriations, the Committee on Legislation, and the Committee on Parks, Housing, and Labor.
And FYI, colleagues had a good detailed conversation with individual New York State Retirement in the actuarial division and have quite a number of answers that should be timely for that meeting, presumably Monday morning in joint session.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, at 10 o'clock.
Excellent. Good. All right. So we don't need any, as we committed. Good. Are we at 7:30? We just hit 7:30. Perfect. At this point, we will call on our majority whip to suspend the rules for purposes of holding a public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we suspend the regular order of business for the purpose of conducting one public hearing.
Mark?
Notice of tonight's hearing was published in the Journal News. I have proof of publication, which is available for inspection in my office. Speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes. From the Committee on Environment and Energy, this public hearing is to consider the proposed inclusion of additional parcels of land in Westchester County Agricultural District Number 1 and the recommendations of the County Agriculture and Farmland Protection Board. I have one card, Murray Bowden.
You wonder why I get upset. This sounds familiar. I've dealt with this particular issue somewhere in the past, but it says, please see items 6139 and 6140 for backup. I wanted to, so I could speak intelligently on this, except I can't find it. It's not here.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other cards.
All righty. At this point, motion to close the public hearing?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Since there are no other speakers, I move that the public hearing be closed.
Excellent. And at this point, Mr. Williams, would entertain a motion to accelerate on the agenda items 23 and 24 from the standing committees to be taken out of order.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I move that we take items number 7139 and 7140 found on page 13 out of order.
Excellent. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
We have a second, okay. And so let's, items before us then, 7139 and 7140, which in our agenda then are items 23 and 24.
Item 7139 from the Committee on Environment and Energy is a resolution declaring there will be no adverse impact on the environment from the addition of parcels to the Westchester County Agricultural District Number 1.
Legislator Parker.
Westchester County encourages...
Just check your microphone if you want.
Thank you. Westchester County encourages the preservation of agricultural land and the promotion of the agricultural industry within the county in recognition of the important role it plays in protecting open space and the environment, preserving community cultural and scenic character, providing locally grown agricultural products, offering unique agricultural services and educational opportunities, and supporting the economy. The county has implemented a number of programs and initiatives to protect its remaining farmland and encourages a strong agricultural industry, including the creation of the County Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board and the Westchester County Agricultural District. So we are looking at the addition of 2 parcels to the Ag District Number 1. The first one is 2014-01 Angels Ground Covers in Cortland.
Excellent. Any discussion? Legislator Harkam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I want to thank you for all of the excellent work you did on this many years ago in forming the Ag District and the Agricultural Protection Farmland Board. In this iteration, special thanks to Chairwoman Parker for expediting this. We know our farm board lost several weeks because of the extended winter. They weren't able to do site visits. And while this is a smaller number of parcels than normal, there were a number of parcels that they recommended come back to us next year with an amended application. But in the big picture, farming is becoming very big business in Westchester County. The local farming to table movement, organics, sustainability, is really becoming big business. In fact, Cornell Cooperative Extension was sending out bids looking for an academic institution to quantify the economic multiplier effect, you know, as we've done with our parks, as we've done with Playland, as we've done with the arts. We really need to get a grip on this, and it's beyond, you know, the parcels necessarily in the Ag District. We've been holding meetings with some of the independent farmers who are members of the Hudson Valley Farm Bureau who are here in Westchester. We have Hilltop, we have Cornell. You know, all these entities coming together create a vital economic engine, not to mention agritourism opportunities. So this is really the hub of all of that activity. So while it's only 2 parcels this year, 7 other parcels or 8 parcels have been referred to next year, plus the applications and the additional farming activity that's going on. So it's not just good for those of us who represent the northern parts of the county where much of this farming activity goes on, it ripples throughout Westchester's economy. So I hope colleagues support. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other colleagues? I want to say, first of all, to Mr. Harcum, thank you for your work for many years, and to the entire board on this. And this board did recognize early on the value of agricultural parcels and set up, at the time, Farmland District Number 1, and then renewed that, recognizing the agribusiness portion, the environmental portion, the stormwater portion, the clean water portion. And now, of course, we're very much in vogue, and we were ahead of the curve, as you indicated, Mr. Harcum, the issue of farm to market, and so very, very important. And also the educational piece. There are many individuals, kids from throughout the county utilize, you know, many of the county parks and the farms and all. I want to thank Legislator Parker, certainly on behalf of the entire legislature, for her leadership. I also have to note she's been a far more effective and better environment chair than I could ever be on this issue. I always seem to spawn lawsuits and discord. You did nothing but, nothing but harmony and consensus. So I have to take a page out of your book and see what seeds are growing in your leadership. So
No pun intended, I'm sure.
struggling all day to come up with that, but certainly, you know, thank you for leading us to this. So we have before us, and for our purposes, taking the discussion of both the environmental as well as the substantive item to follow. Any other colleagues at this particular point? Why don't we do a long roll call on this, please? Number 23.
Mr. Testa.
Yes.
Mr. Boykin.
Yes.
Mr. Burrows. Mr. Gelfarb.
Aye.
Mr. Harcum.
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins.
Yes.
Mr. Mazzano. Ms. Marcotte. Ms. Parker.
Aye.
Ms. Perez. Ms. Shimsky.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Spreckman. Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
Approved 16-0. Item 7140 from the Committee on Environment and Energy is a resolution approving the inclusion of additional parcels to the Westchester County Agricultural District Number 1 for the year 2014.
Ms. Parker.
Yes, thank you. Our second parcel is 2014-06 Avalon Gardens in North Salem, and I do also want to thank Legislator Harcum for his work as the liaison for the Ag District 1.
Excellent. Colleagues, any discussion? Otherwise, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Brings us back to the beginning of standing committee. First item, ID number 6964 from the Committee on Appointments, is a resolution reappointing David Chen as a member of the Westchester County Council for Seniors for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2015.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
First of 22 items, and Mr. Boykin, thank you, sir, for your leadership on this. We have a motion for this reappointment. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6965 is a resolution reappointing James Cronk as a member of the Westchester County Council for Seniors for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2015.
Boykin.
So moved.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6966 is a resolution reappointing Gene Schwartz as a member of the Westchester County Council for Seniors for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2015.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6968 is a resolution reappointing Ruth Gatson as a member of the Westchester County Domestic Violence Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6969 is a resolution reappointing Jillian McGooey Esquire as a member of the Westchester County Domestic Violence Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Seeing no discussion, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6970 is a resolution reappointing LaVon Brown as a member of the Westchester County Domestic Violence Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Excellent. Seeing no discussion, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6972 is a resolution reappointing Rita Tino Esquire as a member of the Westchester County Domestic Violence Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Seeing no comment, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6973 is a resolution reappointing Edmundo Varela as a member of the Westchester County Domestic Violence Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Seeing no discussion, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6974 is a resolution reappointing Janet Oyama Martin Esquire as a member of the Westchester County Domestic Violence Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On this one, let the record show that the first name is Jane. So moved.
Excellent. As corrected, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6976 is a resolution reappointing Dr. Susan Guiney as a member of the Westchester County Domestic Violence Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6977 is a resolution reappointing May Krukil as a member of the Westchester County Domestic Violence Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6998 is a resolution reappointing Klaus von Schern, MD, as a member of the Westchester County Community Services Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2017.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 6999 is a resolution reappointing Susan Wayne as a member of the Westchester County Community Services Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2017.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7002 is a resolution reappointing Charles Goldberger as a member of the Westchester County Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7003 is a resolution reappointing Michael Romita as a member of the Westchester County Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7004 is a resolution reappointing Lorraine Palais as a member of the Westchester County Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7008 is a resolution reappointing Janice Blair as a member of the Westchester County Soil and Water Conservation District Board of Directors for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7009 is a resolution reappointing Joseph Bova as a member of the Westchester County Citizens Consumer Advisory Council for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2015.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7010 is a resolution reappointing Gary Lynch as a member of the Westchester County Electrical Licensing Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2018.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7011 is a resolution reappointing Stephen Schoenfeld as a member of the Westchester County Planning Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, recommit this item.
7011 recommitted.
Item 7012 is a resolution reappointing Henry Carletti Jr. as a member of the Westchester County Board of Plumbing Examiners for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2018.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7013 is a resolution reappointing Stephen Trusa as a member of the Westchester County Transportation Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
So moved.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. Mr. Boykin, to you and your committee, thank you. To Ms. Montaldo for her good work. And to those watching at home, the committee did vet all these individuals, and to the individuals who've just been reappointed, thank you. Thank you very much for your service, and we're not letting you out that easily. Thank you for your reappointment, and look forward to your continued great service to us here in Westchester County.
Brings us to number 25, ID number 7094, from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, an environmental resolution finding there will be no significant adverse impact on the environment from capital project SOS 85, sewer system rehab, Ossining Sanitary Sewer District.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So moved for budget, and I'll pass it over to Economic Development.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Legislator Marcotte. This discussion here relates to items 7094 and 705. It's a $2.2 million project relating to the rehabilitation of the county sewer line and manholes in the Ossining Sewer District. This is an issue that previously had been funded by a $200,000 study to deal with odor remediation issues. Over the last couple of years, it's been solved through chemicals. This is a permanent solution. It is expected to start in the winter of 2015, subject to Con Edison's simultaneous project of relocation of utilities. It's a very short project, but the county has done a good job in remediating, apparently, the odor issue over the last 2 years. With that, we move on to infrastructure.
Excellent. Ms. Shimsky.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This bond covers two basic kinds of work. Number one, the general rehabilitation of sewer lines and manholes in the area, but the second and the most prominent operation, which was alluded to by my colleague, is the realignment of the Snowden Avenue sewer interceptor. Due to a steep grade and siphon located at the bottom of the slope, the trunk sewer at Snowden Avenue has experienced overflows. The result of this has been odor emissions, which have led to complaints at Snowden Park which has ball fields and playgrounds that are widely used in the community, as well as the surrounding neighborhoods. This project will eliminate the need for further use of chemicals, will provide a complete and definitive solution to the odor issue, and the Department of Environmental Facilities expressed their intent to time the work such that the activities at Snowden Park will not be interfered with. On that basis, the Committee on Infrastructure was happy to vote it out.
Excellent. Any legislative discussion at this time? First item is on the environmentals, and the second is on the bonding itself, 27094. At this point, then take the previous long roll call without objection. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7095 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects is an amended bond act authorizing the issuance of up to $2,200,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project SOS 85, sewer system rehab, Ossining Sanitary Sewer District.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So moved for budget.
Mr. Smith.
As previously discussed, so moved.
As previously discussed, so moved for infrastructure.
Excellent. On this item, any legislative discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7097 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, a bond act authorizing the issuance of up to $4,625,000 in bonds to finance capital project A066C, miscellaneous restoration and rehab.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy to move this for budget.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Legislator Marcotte. This relates to two projects, parking lot projects at the Westchester County Airport, Hangar D parking, Hangar E parking. The first one, Hangar D, relates to approximately $4.4 million of rehab of the parking lot, which will include a walkway, a covered walkway in. The lots are old. Currently, this project's at 90% design and ready to go. It's considered to be about a 4-month construction project to accomplish that. The second is Hangar E, which is used by J.P. Morgan, which is a county responsibility. This is to fund $200,000 of design work relating to that particular project. All the funding for this will come from the airport funds. With that, we move on to the Infrastructure Committee.
Excellent. Ms. Shimsky.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Both of these parking areas are in desperate need of rehabilitation. Although the funding is not done the way our airport projects usually are, with 90% federal aid and 5% state aid. This is work that needs to be done to keep these areas functioning properly. So for that reason, infrastructure concluded that the work is operationally needed and was willing to vote it out.
Excellent. Legislators, any comment, discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7098 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $535,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project WCC76, technology upgrade on campus.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy to move this for budget, and I'll turn it over to Economic Development.
Thank you, Legislator Scott. There are two projects from Westchester County Community College this evening involving technology, one for on-campus, one for off-campus. This is the on-campus project. It relates to $535,000, which represents 50% of the cost of technology upgrades at the campus. The other 50% will be covered by New York State. This will relate to improving monitoring and single station improvements and allow them to monitor critical issues as it relates to on-campus technology. With that, we move on to infrastructure.
Bishop.
Okay, thank you very much. This project will include wireless enhancement as well as replacing old and out-of-date computer equipment. The Committee on Infrastructure found that this work is operationally needed and was therefore willing to vote it out.
Excellent. Any legislative discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7099 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $871,000 in bonds of the county to finance Capital Project WCC 78, Safety and Security, Campus-Wide Phase 3.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy to move this for budget, and I'll turn it over to economic development.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Legislator Marcotte. This is another project involving Westchester Community College. This is a three-phase project. The total cost of the project is calculated to be $8.1 million. This is the final phase of the project, $871,000, which represents 50% funding by Westchester County, the balance by New York State. Campus security is something that is highly importantly something that year by year goes by, and we're aware of incidents going on. We had a presentation today from the staff of Westchester Community College talking as to their programs and the various different components of the program as to how it will enhance safety at the Westchester campus from a prevention perspective and also from a investigation perspective. With that, we'll move this on to the Infrastructure Committee.
Excellent. Ms. Shimsky.
Okay, thank you very much. The work that's involved here will, number one, increase the security monitoring of areas such as the parking lot, which will be of assistance to investigate crimes, lawsuits from collisions, and so on. The second general type of work is the protection of high-value assets. There will be special access restrictions that will be put in place for areas such as that involve a large amount of technology, storage of information, and storage of money such as the Bursar's office. As Legislator Smith also discussed, there's also going to be a fair amount devoted to classroom security. So we will indeed be protecting our most valued assets, our people, as well as our liquid assets and our information. And for that reason, the Infrastructure Committee found that this is operationally important work and was willing to vote it out. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Any legislative discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7100 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, the Bond Act authorizing the issuance of up to $49,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project WC75 technology upgrade off campus.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So moved for budget, and I'll turn it over to economic development.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you. This is a project in total cost of $98,000. As I mentioned previously, this is the off-campus component of the projects that were presented to us today. It's mainly focused on wireless. The current wireless infrastructure is insufficient to meet the needs. The county portion is $48,000. The other balance will be paid by New York State. With that, we move it on to infrastructure.
Ms. Shimsky.
Yes, this is the analog of the previous bond we discussed, WCC 76, the on-campus upgrade. The off-campus involves the satellite campuses of Westchester Community College. Again, will be improvements in wireless infrastructure as well as computer equipment. Once again, this work was found to be operationally necessary and essential to the college's educational mission, and infrastructure is therefore willing to vote it out.
Excellent. Any legislative discussion? Seeing none, I am going to discuss. For future generations, note the amount, $49,000. We used to have a rule here for no reason particular, except it was fun to have the rule that you could only bond if it was $100,000 or more. Just note that we are breaking that precedent because if we want to bond something, it doesn't matter what the amount is. It doesn't cost you any more to bond it because it's all wrapped up into one series of bonds. That's the little secret. So therefore, for future generations or when you teach your legislative grandchildren, you can look back and say that you bond because it's something to bond, not simply because it's an artificial number or not. And so with that said, I lend my support to this and feel a little cleansed. Thank you very much budgetarily. At this point, any other legislative comments? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call for item 7100.
Approved 16-0. Item 7101 from the Committees on Infrastructure and Budget and Appropriations, an act authorizing the county to apply for and enter into a grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration for capital project A0118 runway 16/34 rehab.
Legislator Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to move this for the Budget Committee, and I'll turn it over to Chairwoman Shimsky for Infrastructure.
Shimsky, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You don't have much of an airport without runways, and runway 1634 is in need of repavement and other work. This legislation authorizes the county to enter into a grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration to get the 90% funding to help make that rehabilitation happen. It should be noted that airport staff specifically stated today that this will not increase the size of the runway, that it's within the current footprint. For that reason, infrastructure was willing to vote it out. Thank you.
Excellent. Any legislative discussion? Seeing none, at this point, we'll take the previous long roll call, so ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7102 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, the Bond Act authorizing the issuance of $800,000 in bonds in the county.
Over.
Item 7102, overed.
Item 7103 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, an act amending the 2014 County Capital Budget Appropriations for Capital Project BIT-3B Desktop Systems.
Legislator Markup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to move this for a budget, and I'll turn it over to Economic Development.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you. This is a capital budget amendment for $980,000. It is a function of the 2015 expenditure being accelerated due to the positive work from some of the setup work that needed in advance of this. It went a lot faster than expected. This is actually expected to be generate cost savings down the road for Westchester County. It moves the county deeper into the concept of virtualization, where they'll be able to use one cheaper hardware at the site, and also cheaper hardware, and also to extend the existing life of hardware. Whereas the existing hardware PCs on site have a 4 to 5 year life, it is expected that this project will move and allow the usage of hardware from into a 7 to 8 year life that's out there. The technology is, as described today by the Commissioner, is going to be utilized throughout the county. And with that, we will move this on to infrastructure.
Legislator Shimsky.
Okay, thank you very much. Items 7103 and 7104 will permit the replacement of equipment which, combined with other efforts at computer reconditioning and virtualization, will net large benefits for those parts of the county operations, for example, Department of Social Services, with a large number of generic computers that need all of the same systems and need to speak to each other to function optimally. For those reasons, the Committee on Infrastructure decided that this work is operationally advisable and was willing to vote it out.
Excellent. 7104, and any discussion at this time? Otherwise, seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered. Strike 7103. Got ahead of myself. That was 7103, long roll call. Not necessary. We'll do the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7104 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects is a bond act authorizing the issuance of $980,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project BIT-3B Desktop Systems 2012 through 2016.
Same discussion, Ms. Markman.
So moved. Thank you.
As discussed, we move to infrastructure.
As previously discussed, so moved.
Okay, so to 7104. Any discussion at this time? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7105 from the Committee on Budget and Appropriations, an act authorizing the transfer of funds across 3 county departments in the amount of $1,234,392.
Okay, Ms. Markov.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These funds are required to complete the 2013 fiscal year on a sound financial basis and are fully funded by savings within the 2013 operating budget. I'm happy to move this for budget and appropriations.
Excellent. Legislators, any discussion on this item? It was fully discussed today in budget. Thank you, Ms. Markov. Seeing no discussion, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7107 from the Committee on Budget and Appropriations, an act authorizing the amendment of the 2013 County Special Districts Budget in the amount of $298,685.
Ms. Markup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This act actually covers 3 items, if you will. One is to cover an extra interest payment on a New Rochelle sanitary sewer system. It was actually budgeted for. However, they went to market early on it, so the one unanticipated early interest payment is included in this act, along with the other 2 items, which are additional, or an increase, I should say, in technical services for the Yonkers pump station, along with an unexpected, if you will, or higher than expected, I should say, tax cert that was settled. This was fully vetted and discussed in budget today, and I'm happy to move it for the committee.
Excellent. Any legislative discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll take a previous long roll call. Ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7110 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $1,150,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project BIT 31 Health Inspection Systems.
Ms. Markup.
For budget, so moved.
Smith.
Thank you. This is to replace the health information systems both for central and field operations. They're replacing the existing system that has been determined to be obsolete. The existing system has been in place for approximately 9 years at this point in time now. It is expected that all legacy data pertaining to prior systems will be able to be fed over. Also, the capacity of the new system will be expanded to take into considerations for metrics and compliance type issues. With that, we move to the infrastructure.
Excellent. Ms. Shimsky.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The improved system will also help with issues of use in the field and use of scheduling. The system itself will be fairly highly customized to our needs and will need less work by our own IT to make it work properly. I just wanted to note that there were some issues raised at committee with the responsiveness of the vendor of the prior system, and I just want to go on the record and hope that the correct pre-qual boards or whoever deals with the assignment of vending contracts take a look at this in the future. Thank you.
Excellent. Legislators, any discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Item 7117 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $157,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project WCC 64 Maintenance Building Consolidation New Facility.
Ms. Markup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For budget, so moved. I'll turn it over to Economic Development.
Smith.
Thank you. This relates to the removal of what WCC considers 2 obsolete, energy inefficient, and inappropriate facilities which have outlived their usefulness at this point now. It is a maintenance building, what's labeled Maintenance Building 2, and their Visual Arts Building. These buildings will be taken down. The cost of this project is a county share, which is 50%. New York State will be funding the balance of this particular project. As a result of this project, they will be able to add what they consider to be much needed 20 parking spaces at the facility. Also, too, during discussion, it was determined and clarified that WCC at this point now is undertaking a solar study for the entire campus, and they will be they were asked to provide the information onto us. They are working to some extent with NYPA on this project, and they will be evaluating this project for payback. With that, we move it on to infrastructure.
Ms. Shimsky.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to note, first of all, that the building which is going to be demolished, which is called the Visual Arts Building, has not been used for programming. It's been used as an ancillary storage building, so we are not losing any valuable departmental or programming or exhibition space with this. That's already been done elsewhere. We also had discussion today about construction management and the best way for the college to move forth with that. I'm sure we remember the discussions from a few weeks ago with the issues surrounding construction management of the Gateway building. We talked somewhat about lessons learned, and we'll be talking with the college later on this summer. They're doing some of their own internal investigation now, and I anticipate that this will be a smoother process down the road.
Excellent. Legislators, any comments, thoughts on this item? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 16-0. Motions, resolutions, call of the districts.
Legislator Harkam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would ask that you add the name of Peter Ehrlich, E-H-R-L-I-C-H. Peter is a longtime Bedford resident, active on the A-Home Board, active in many civic affairs in Bedford, including the Master Plan Committee. He will be missed.
I'd like to join you on that, Ms. Harkam, if that's okay. Okay. Legislator Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to add the names of Edward P. Good, Salvatore Tutoni, Juana Cintrón, and John Gary McCobb.
And you'll be able to provide those names to the clerk afterwards. Great. Excellent. Ms. Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to add the name of Emily Bear, who functioned for over 20 years as the first female building inspector for the town of Greenburgh and died recently. Thank you.
Excellent. Ms. Shimsky.
I would like to be added to that last resolution. Also, I'd like to add the name of Ruth Leslie, L-E-S-L-Y, longtime former Hastings resident who, among her many contributions to the community, was a longtime member of the library board. I'd also like to add that Ms. Berg in the pre-printed list is Barb, B-A-R-B, and not B-A-R-G. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Ms. Markup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to add the name of Vito Scavone. Vito was from the town of Eastchester. He worked for the Highway Department for many years, and he was tragically killed in a car accident in Rockland County about 8 or 9 days ago. So I will give the name to the clerk.
Thank you.
And if any legislators would like to join me on that.
We have Legislator Shimsky.
Yes.
Thank you.
Legislator Speckman.
I would like to add to Virginia Perez, Sal Tortoni, my name, and to Gordon Burrows, Roy Letson. Thank you.
Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Legislator Burrows for making sure that all of the Yonkers legislators were on for Senator Roy Letson, who was a New York State senator and certainly will be missed. He fell because he was out and about, but he fell and he was never able to recover from the fall, being at an advanced age. So we want to thank Legislator Burrows for making sure that all the Yonkers legislators were down. Thank you.
And perhaps we can all join on, in respect, of course. Legislator Boykin.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sharon Lindsay, I'd just like to say, Sharon Lindsay was a former village trustee in the village of Scarsdale. She was very active, Harvard-educated lawyer, worked for many, many years on Wall Street, and she was also president of the Westchester County League of Women Voters, and she died unexpectedly a couple of weeks ago. And other legislators may want to join.
Probably all legislators would like to join as a former public official, for sure. Okay. Any other legislators? I would put forward, as other legislatures undoubtedly around the country are, poet Maya Angelou, who passed positive.
All legislators.
Speaking, and I'm sure a cacophony of legislatures around the country, and appropriately so. She will be missed, and such a wonderful voice for us here in America. Any other additions to the resolutions or motions? Resolutions call the district. Seeing none, let's please stand for a moment of silence on behalf of all those on our resolution list. And at this point, motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn this meeting and reconvene on Monday, June 23rd at 7 p.m.
Excellent. Tester? Short roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Here, yes.
Mr. Testa? Yes. Mr. Mazzano? Yes. Mr. Chairman?
Aye. Excellent. We are adjourned. Go Rangers. Thank you, everybody.
Come on.
See, we love you, T.